All right. YouTube muted. Tight. Now here we go. Seal of Righteous Seal of Righteousness damage can now be critical hits. I like this, but they haven't said whether or not it'll proc Art of War. So, is that going to be a good thing? We don't quite know yet. I hope that it's going to proc Art of War, because if it does, that'll make us not as reliant on using Seal of the Martyr, and we can, as tanks, use something different like Aegis finally, or Horn, which could be good for if we're going to be in a melee group anyways. It'll be good for the group. So I like this. I know it's coming right after they gave us a big mana buff for Seal of Martyr, but at the end of the day, these DPS can complain about their mana all they want, but all I hear is you need to get more threat. You need to keep aggro so I can just pop off from the very first millisecond of the fight and then not rip aggro from you. So, hey, Seal of Righteousness does holy damage. Seal of Martyr didn't. So Seal of Righteousness is going to be a aggro boost. I'm hoping that it does proc Art of War when it crits. That'll make sure it's gonna, for me, be what I use, so I can finally use something else on my chest. Seal of Martyrdom is great, love it, but I'm a little bored of it, and that's my thought on this. Sacred Shield's duration, from what I understand, it's a little bit of quality of life. You don't have to press it as many times, so you'll probably save some mana that way. I don't heal. I don't know what Sacred Shield really does. So that's that. Crusader Strike, again, not something I'm going to be using as a tank, but it's awesome that a Ret Paladin can use this and refresh all the different seals that are judged. We have like 5 Paladins that we run with, so we get a ton of judgments up on the bosses, and I think the one that we don't as consistently have is a Ret Paladin, so it's going to be kind of a bummer, but Crusader Strike, being able to refresh all the judgments, is going to be a pretty awesome upgrade for Ret Paladins. Now, here's the big one that everyone, and I have to say, I'm going to preface this, you guys might not like what I have to say about it, because at the end of the day, I came from retail. I played Paladin in 2004, 2005, before anyone knew what seal twisting was. I stopped playing. I came back to play retail. Paladin all of a sudden had combo points and a bunch of different buttons to press, which combo points or whatever, but all the other buttons to press was pretty cool, instead of just waiting for a seal of command proc. So I'm watching like Season of Discovery content. I'm watching S-Fan talk himself silly about seal twisting and how much he loves it, and then how much he lost interest when he found out he couldn't do Seal of Martyrdom with Seal of Command. And I have to say, I think seal twisting gameplay is pretty boring. It's uninteresting. You're playing Swing Timer Simulator, and I just don't. When they're adding different abilities like Crusader Strike, Divine Storm, I just don't see what's interesting about watching a swing timer and pressing a button within like a short window period of time. I don't see it. I don't understand why. I still don't think it's going to be as good as using a fast two-handed weapon and getting Art of War procs. Um, and I just don't see the appeal of the gameplay. It's just, it seems like I would rather just have different buttons to press that actually cause an action rather than just kind of like seal twist. So For those who enjoy doing it, I'm not gonna say like you shouldn't enjoy doing it because, as we all know, this channel is not about telling people what they should and shouldn't do. Uh, it's more what you can and can't do, and you definitely now can seal twist your martyrdom and seal of command. I just don't know what the like. I don't know personally what the appeal of it is. So great news for the people who really wanted it. I happen to think it's kind of cringy gameplay, but I'm happy for those of you who do enjoy it and now can. But I likely won't be doing it unless I can like slip in if I don't have like a if I don't have a global that I need to press and I can do it, then I might do it. But also the thought of like having a swing timer on my screen is just it doesn't make me very happy. So let's see what I would rather them lean more into like ability based gameplay, like giving us abilities to use versus like just leaning in on what's essentially an exploit that they just kept letting happen because the player base found a way to buff the class rather than the developers actually buffing the class. So what do y'all think? I don't know. That was actually fanaticism triggering Seal of Righteousness crits. I was thinking that it might, but I don't know if it's going to be considered a holy spell, so it might still be considered like a weapon attack that does holy damage. So I'm not sure if it does or not. That's pretty cool. I was thinking about going in tomorrow, especially now that they did this and I can have Aegis and I have the three piece just going total beefcake mode tomorrow. And just getting um, blessing a sanctuary consecration and then 9 points into ret and just bring it, you know? Yeah, and that's another thing with the seal twisting. Like I have soul phrase, so I ain't not gonna be seal twisting with a 2.0 weapon. So uh, and I really don't care to farm out the one from the Blood Moon. Um, if I get one from the raid, that would be cool. But I don't know. I don't really know what two-handers there are in the raid because once I got Soul Thrays, I totally lost interest in any of the other ones. Yeah. So I do I do think you know I think the seal twisting community is very loud. So I don't think it's a lot of people that actually enjoy doing it, but because I like S-Fan, but because he's like seal twisting, like his whole fan base is gonna be like, oh yeah, we need to seal twist. But at the end of the day, I just don't see it as compelling gameplay. I think they did a much better job by adding in Crusader Strike and Divine Storm, and they could. I'd rather see them iterate on that type of gameplay rather than like go back and kind of go back on older type gameplay. So that's essentially my thoughts on the news. This is the one I am most happy about. Seal of Righteous damage can now critical hit, but we still need to find out if it will proc Art of War. Um, if it is, so one of two things, right? If it's a melee attack that does holy damage, then it should proc Art of War. And if it doesn't, then fanaticism, then it would be like a spell, right? So fanaticism should boost its critical chance. So it should either get one or the other. I don't think that they would really be making this change if it wasn't going to proc Art of War. Um, but yeah, we'll have to find out because it didn't used to crit, so it never would have proc Art of War. Um, so that's going to be the main thing I want to try out. Yeah, that's a little bit what I'm worried about. Because if it doesn't proc Art of War, then it's not really going to be worth anything, in my opinion. Like, it's kind of a pointless buff. Um, so I'm hoping that they have done something like that with it. Yeah, I mean, could you imagine if they could both proc Art of War and then you were seal twisting that, uh, and you'd get three chances at a critical strike every swing? That would be insane. But like we're talking, we don't have unlimited mana pools here. Like that would be a lot to have to. Even now, I feel like I don't get I don't have a full mana pool. So, anyways, these are the this is the news today. I'm uh I'm excited about that Crusader Strike. That's a good thing for Ret. Uh, but it's just not it's not like a huge like they're gonna be saying the seal twisting thing is like a huge change, and it is a huge change, but it's not really a huge change that like moves us forward. And if they're only gonna give us one big update in phase 3, I would have preferred it to be one that moves us forward and not just one that's like, hey, this is like this is like what streamers used to like to do in 2019 or whatever, you know? So let's give it to you again. I'd rather it just like, I would have rather it been something just a little bit more substantial. But, anyways, we'll go